Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best 10 brawlers to max out within the brand new season 19. Of course, I do this every single season, so I'll be judging this basically off ladder and power league, and maybe a little bit of a showdown as well, giving you guys the best brawlers to max out so you can progress your trophies a lot easier. So before we jump into today's video, make sure you're using a creator code. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, I will be away just for about 3 or 4 days. I might try and get a tier list out, you know, no promises, trying to get it out for tomorrow, but probably be Thursday latest. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that one. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright, guys, so jumping into one of the best brawlers to max out within the meta, it is Macy. So Macy's starting to definitely progress within the rankings. I feel like she's just missing out about top 10, probably somewhere around the top 20. But I think she'll just get stronger and stronger as people learn how to use her and utilize her kit. I think more and more people will definitely pick her, especially in a ladder. I think in Power League, I think she's not the most dominant brawler, but in ladder, she's pretty much good against everything. And she's like that mid brawler, kind of like being a way where she can, of course, dominate at the longer ranges, but also just counters tanks so well. So she's going to be that perfect mid in a lot of different gamers, specifically Brawl and Gem Grab. I mean, I've seen her a lot in Hot Zone as well. So again, by no means is she like a top 5 brawler, but I think with how things are shifting, especially you know, in the future, I don't think she's going to get any sort of nerf. I think if anything, she's going to receive a lot more buffs. Okay, so jumping into probably the best brawler to max out within this game right now, we have Squeak. So Squeak, I've said it before, I've said it multiple times now, I think he's starting to become probably a top 5 brawler within the game right now. So after speaking to a lot of pros, specifically the ones that like to play Power League a lot on Twitch, but not only that, just by watching qualifiers and also participating in it myself, I've realized the value in Squeak, and talking to some pro drafters as well. You know, Squeak can even be picked at the early stage of draft, so just going to show how strong he is, because normally you consider Squeak, right, as a brawler that likes to counter the squishier options, and he's easily countered himself. But if you can start drafting him so early on, it shows how strong he is. And whenever I'm playing ladder as well, he just destroys everyone. So he's got a really good kit overall. Of course, the brand new star power buff has brought him to light a lot more, because it increases the damage by 20%. It's nearly 2,000 damage a shot, which is just absolutely insane. Squeak meta is definitely here. He's for sure top 5 brawler, so make sure to max him out. Okay, so jumping into the next best brawler to max out, it is Shelly. So Shelly is the best brawler in the game, hands down. And I feel like I can't make this top 10 without pulling her in. I know it's pretty boring now because she's just been in the top 10 rankings for a long time now. But there will be that odd person that wonders, like, how is Shelly so good? Main reason being is because she counters pretty much everything. So she may not just completely delete people all of the time, but her presence on the map, as well as her band-aid star power, her very fast movement speed, and the amount of HP she has as well, it makes her a really hard target to consistently take down. She just has so much pressure. She can literally keep respawning and respawning. You pair this with the speed gear as well, it is so hard to take her down. Clay pigeons as well, so easy to cycle her super. Not only that, the really squishy brawlers she could pretty much kill with one activation of their clay pigeons gadget. So she's really deadly in this meta, good pretty much everywhere, and every single time I'm watching competitive, she absolutely pops off. So moving into the next brawler you need to absolutely max out, it is the Crow. So Crow within Power League, within ladder, within every single type of game you're playing, even showdown as well, is going to be such a dominant pick. So of course you've got to be maxing him out. Well, I've been explaining this probably for like a year now. He's been so insanely strong, but he still is the go-to brawler in a lot of different instances. So within Brawl, he's just a fantastic option. Gem Grab as well, you can play him as a mid or a lane as well. That's one thing that's kind of adopted to his playstyle now. Before, people kind of reluctant to play mid because it's quite squishy, but the fact that you can just feed super so much easier when you're a mid and make game-changing plays with that super, it just makes him a must max out in my opinion. He's just so solid across the board and easily one of the best brawlers, so you just have to max him out. So moving into the next brawler you need to absolutely max out within the meta right now, we have Mr. P. So we've been speaking for a few weeks now on how strong Mr. P is, and he's still a really dominant pick in this meta. Quite a lot of pros who I spoke to actually put Mr. P in their top 5 just because of how solid he is right now. So main reason why he's allowed to thrive, right, is because tanks aren't the strongest. There's so many tank counters out there, particularly the best brawler in the game, Shelly. So start to see a lot less of Mr. P's counters, and Mr. P's really good against tank counters. So if you work the mathematics around that, that just equals Mr. P meta. Even though his star powers and gadgets aren't the most fulfilling, like they're not gonna literally carry his kit, but they're nice to have, you know, they give him some additional HP to his portals, for example, can be good to waste the opponent's ammo. but you know, Mr. P is just so dominant across the board. And the good thing about Mr. P, whenever he's meta, he's playable across every single game mode. He has good range and just good versatility, so he definitely is that really OP brawler right now. Jumping into the next brawler you need to absolutely max out, we have the Ems. So Ems is not playable, of course, on every single game mode, but I think at least on 3 of the game modes you could even make a consideration for Hot Zone as well. In some instances, she's definitely a really strong option to have. So the main reason why she's so good is because, especially when you're playing ladder, of course you go into the game not knowing what the enemy is picking, and she's pretty much good against everything. She can shut down tanks, she's still okay against some of her counters until she has some knockbacks, and just overall really consistent when it's Brawl Ball and Gem Grab. You see an Ems always pop off. The main reason being is because she has so much pressure. She has a lot of HP. She's really good with the speed gear. And then her super combined, it makes it really hard for the opponents to actually deal with you. So I think Ems is consistently a really strong brawler. And I don't think she's going to get nerfed anytime soon. So you can be pretty safe to, you know, put your power points into her. Okay, so jumping into the next brawler you want to absolutely max out, we have Barley. So Barley has started to slowly creep up the rankings. Before Unbreakable Walls, he actually used to be at the bottom of my tier list. Well, one of the worst brawlers in the game, pretty much bottom 20, 100%. And then Unbreakable Walls came in, and then people just started to realize that Barley's kit is actually pretty strong. So he's got 2 useful star powers, 2 useful gadgets as well. And we're getting to the point now, especially in Knockout, where people just start to ban all of the throwers, and then that normally leaves like Willow and Barley. And Barley is actually pretty toxic to deal with, especially behind an Unbreakable wall. You have his healing star power as well in game modes like Knockout and Bounty, which can be just really annoying because he can consistently keep up the pressure. And then he has the healing gadget as well, which he can help his teammates win the gunfight. It's not a lot of healing, don't get me wrong, but in the clutch moments, especially when the gas closes in on Knockout, it can be so hard to deal with. It's near enough impossible to counter in a way. So Barley, I think, is such a strong option. Definitely a top 20 brawler within the game right now. Okay, so jumping into the next brawler you need to absolutely max out, we have Nita. So again, another brawler which is just so strong against tanks, but not only that, she's also a consistent counter to some of the top brawlers within the meta, like Shelly, for example. So just because of how strong Shelly is, Nita is just a fantastic option because she's probably the best counter to her. There's a few other options as well, but Nita is normally the go-to because, of course, you've got the bear, and just overall you can kind of win the peak shot around the lane. So, you know, she's only going to be good on probably like 3 out of the 6 game modes when it comes to 3v3, like Brawl Ball, Gem Grab, and Heist. But she's also going to be that carry brawler. Whenever you're playing Heist, especially if you want to carry randoms, you need someone that can like perform like a power play in as such. Like they need to have like a really good super or a good gadget, and Nita has that carry super, so of course she can be a really good option to max out. Okay, so jumping into the final brawler you need to absolutely max out, we have Cordelia. So again, I've mentioned him time and time again since he came out. I thought maybe he's just strong because, you know, just like Macy when she came out, there was like a couple of really good maps which just really favored Cordelia's, but I think it's pretty clear right now that he's definitely one of the best, if not the best brawler inside of the game right now. So within Power League, it's sometimes a little bit hard to draft him because, of course, he does really lack the range, so you really need the right map for him. But once he gets the right map, he'll just completely take over the game. You just need to keep recycling your super over and over again. The supercharge rate is just so dumb. It's crazy how broken this brawler can be once you start chaining those supers. You hit one super, you kill the opponent in the realm, and then you have another super. You can just keep throwing it about, and the opponents just can't do anything. They can't use their super or gadget in the realm. So normally, unless the Cordelius makes a really bad play, he can just win that 1v1 all of the time. And even if he doesn't win the 1v1, he can just wait, recharge his super with the kind of buzz charging super, and then he can just cycle it and then just pick an easier matchup. For example, there's always an easier matchup in the 3v3 for Cordelius to consistently just chase after time and time again. So for me, Cordelius is a must max out, and you guys are probably close to getting him, so make sure you're saving those power points and max him out instantly. Alright guys, it's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. So of course, I also did a Power League version of this a few days ago, which you need to check out. But this one, I would say it focuses more on ladder because, of course, you don't know what you're facing in ladder. So you kind of need brawlers that are good against everything, but also pop off. I also had Poco at the bottom of this because I feel like he's slowly kind of creeping up. But as I mentioned, I think for me, Cordelius has to be probably the best brawler and probably the most exciting one to play. So I'll say it's definitely worth getting the Brawl Pass, getting maxed out. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.